Guess who's back? Believe me or not, making Countdown requires a lot of research, effort, and commitment, which is why after 3 months I have not made a single countdown. It takes a while and it slows down my other work, but hopefully, the wait was worth it because we're going to dive into a certain fighting game indie that I've been personally enjoying recently. This is my top 8 favorite Skullgirls characters. Much like my top 13 Persona 4 Arena characters, I will be analyzing their movesets, story, how fun they are to fight and play against, and character design. I'm going to talk about all the characters in the game. Of course, don't expect Umbrella or Squiggly because before I made this list, the DLC wasn't out yet. Lastly, if you haven't gone through the story mode yet, this is your spoiler warning. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. Out of all the original character rosters, there's only one character in which I dislike. Double. Fortunately, this is the only character I dislike, so don't expect me to bash on any other characters that much. But before we get to those, let me explain why I dislike Double as a character. Her story mode was confusing and boring. From what I gather, she fights all the contenders in order to tentacle rape them. Oh my god! Actually, it's to absorb all their powers except for one special contender. And who is that special contender, you may ask? I don't know. Seriously, the game never tells you who this special contender is. Not even a quick trip to the wiki will help you out. Her story mode is basically as confusing as a Kingdom Hearts story. And it shouldn't be because this is by far the most basic story arc in the entire game. With other characters, it's mostly about a goal and a challenge to intervene their objectives. Here, it's just kill everyone. That's it. What's worse is that this is the last story in the Skullgirls story mode, so the trial and error of unlocking all the ending has been building up to a dissatisfying conclusion. To make it more confusing, there's an epilogue at the ending where 2 girls play Skullgirls and was interrupted by her mom. What the hell does this have anything to do with Double? And the weirdest part is, while this epilogue is more confusing than the actual story, it is surprisingly the best part of her story mode. The epilogue that has nothing to do with Double manages to pull off a better story than Double's story. Her personality is very odd. She does whatever her master wishes, so basically she's Skullgirl's puppet. Other than that, not very much is known about her. Her storyline is confusing, her caricature is not developed, and she's not a very good villain. As her fighting style, while it is very interesting, it's not my cup of tea. Her movements are very jerky and at times very unresponsive, and I never remember any of her movesets for the life of me. But I have to say, at the right hands, she can definitely be a force to be reckoned with. I've actually seen some fights with her where she actually looks like a very good character. However, since I have no interest in Double as a character, there is no way I'm going to put my time and effort into learning a character I dislike. Hence why she is number 8 on this countdown. Peacock is an interesting little fella. Her actual name is Patricia, and during a war, she is an orphan and a slave. That is until Dr. Avian rescues her and builds her a special arsenal for her combat ability. I'm not very fond of her personality at first due to how immature and childish she behaves, however, it really grew on me as she kind of reminds me of the little sister I never had. Her movesets comprise of an abundance of references from Mega Man, Final Fight, Super Mario Bros, and even Charlie Brown. You can easily tell that the creators put a lot of heart and love into what they like into this character. However, while I appreciate these references, ironically, her playstyle doesn't fit me. She is a keep-away character, and the ironic thing is, that's the type of character I usually play as. I don't know why, and I know this sounds weird, but she feels too keep-away. Maybe there's a certain limit as to what type of keep-away I enjoy, but it feels like Peacock relies too much on her projectiles rather than actual combos. And when I actually fight against her, it pisses me off every time I cannot get in for the kill. Peacock is probably the only character I do not look forward to fighting against due to how much her projectiles can keep her safe. Her story mode is worth mentioning. Dr. Avian, as previously discussed, rescued Peacock. Since then, Dr. Avian is more like a father figure to her. The lab in which she lives in is where Skullgirls is being held captive as an experiment. Later on in the story, the people associated with the lab research betrays Dr. Avian in the process, killing him. It wasn't explained much that Peacock had a good relationship with her father, but after saying his final words, you can really feel the pain and suffering Peacock was going through. This shows that Peacock is not always about cartoons and big guns. It actually shows Peacock as an actual human being. And with her confronting the Skullgirl, she didn't really take revenge on her, but instead realizes her as more of a friend than just a lab experiment. It's a shame to say all these great things about Peacock knowing that she's the second worst character on the list, but this is simply because all the characters are significantly better. That doesn't mean I hate Peacock, this just means that I like 6 of the other Skullgirl characters. As I said before, I'm not going to be too negative on the following characters simply because they're so amazing. Peacock's character development over her story mode was amazing. I wish I got to know her movesets a little more, and that's the only reason why she's second to last on the list. It's also a shame too because Peacock is easily one of the only characters in the game that's not sexualized in any way. Oh god damn it! Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Anyways, Valentine is the true villain of this game. She is so menacing, twisted, and god-awfully uncomfortable to be around with. I actually made a list called the top 10 fighting game finishers before I played this game, and let me tell ya, if I'm ever planning to remake this list, this hyper could have easily taken number 1.
Tell me where it hurts. Too hot to handle.
How is it that a T-Ray game manages to creep the out of me more than Mortal Kombat? Oh well, thinking about remaking the list aside, Valentine is a seductive trap. Don't fall for her sexiness or you will regret it. Which is why I love her personally. She is so over the top sexy, but it feels very uncomfortable every time I get the hots for her just by looking at her. Her playstyle is very intriguing, but somewhat okay. It's weird, she is a very beginner character, but in the right hand, she could be a huge asset. She has the strength and the speed to fight against all the Skullgirls, and she is very easy to learn. She also has a lot of advanced techniques to make her even better. There's only one flaw I could say with Valentine, and that is her ending. Building up to her story mode, she was forced to surrender to Lab Zero, and her comrades has been slain. You can understand why she's forced to be so manipulative. She's a puppet, but unlike Double, where she has no motives as to why she is a pawn to Skullgirl, Valentine has a reason to be a puppet, and in that tries to seek revenge on Skullgirl after she kills her fallen comrades. There she obtains the Skull Heart, and what I like about this is that she was tempted to bring her acquaintance back, but because of the trauma she caused to Painwheel, she becomes the new Skullgirl so that Painwheel not only accomplishes her goal of destroying the Skull Heart, but her revenge on Valentine. So what's the flaw in this ending? She already dies before Painwheel gets to kill her, making the wish entirely pointless! What the hell, game? Oh well, huge nitpick, but other than that, Valentine is an awesome character. And boobies! I'll shut up now. I'm surprised this character didn't make it on the bottom of my list. Parasol.
It's pronounced parasol, you goddamn dumbass! Why don't you pronounce it right, you douche?
As I was saying, I normally have a dislike for charged characters, so I was expecting her to be lower on the list, but to my surprise, she has got to be the best charged character I've ever played. She can produce landmines and air mines around the battlefield. This shows that she is a very technical keep-away character, and she can also do well on her own in close combat. She can detonate the mines she plants at any time, so the opponents will not know when the mines will explode unless the timer runs out. The story mode is probably one of the most interesting stories in the game. She is a princess of Canopi Kingdom. She wields her umbrella very similar to a rapier.
It's pronounced rapier, you.
I will fucking shoot your ball sacks. She has a sister named Umbrella. I can't really say much about Umbrella since the only relationship she has with Parasol is that they're both sisters. But let me just say, if I did include Umbrella on the list, she'd probably be lower than Double. If anything, Umbrella is more like the princess and Parasol is the hero. It shows a lot of dedication to save a girl from distress. It was later revealed that 7 years ago, Parasol's mom, of all people, was Skullgirl, causing anarchy and destruction to the world. And in the final scene, Skullheart was about to absorb Umbrella, but Parasol doesn't want her only sister to die, so she wishes herself to become Skullgirl. That way, she will save her sister. Overall, her personality is very committed. She gives and follows orders, and she cares not of herself, but her sister and her crew member. She is the hero that all of us wants to be. I honestly never thought I would ever put this character this high on the list. Painwheel at first was a character I didn't even care about. Sure, she looks menacing, but her voice really made me dislike her instantly. Her fighting style is also very hard to pull off, and she is probably the most advanced character in the game. And on top of that, she is easily the ugliest character in the game. So why is it that she is so goddamn high on the list? It's because she has easily the best story in any fighting game I have ever played. Painwheel used to be a normal high school student named Carol. That is until Lab Zero kidnapped her and Valentine operated on her to be the most deadliest persona in the Skullgirls universe. She was designed to kill anyone who passes her way, and because of brain drain, she was forced to do unorthodox methods to murder her victims. This killing machine used to be a high school girl. Already it sounded twisted enough, but eventually she tries to break free of the monster. In order to break free from her evil self, she needs to destroy the Skullheart, and in process, she is finally free. Or is she? She returns home to her parents, introducing herself as their only daughter, but what they see is just an evil monster. This is one of the most saddest moments in any video game. I was probably in tears the first time I saw Painwheel getting disowned by her parents. She was then given a message by Lab Zero for Painwheel to return. With Painwheel losing everything, she seeks revenge on destroying Lab Zero once and for all, and was later revealed as a Skullgirl. Overall, despite my disliking of her playstyle and uninteresting character design, the true reason why she lands so high on the list is that because she has the most amazing story. She shows a lot of character development and you can really sympathize for her. You feel really sorry for the way she's been forcefully transformed from a normal girl to a monster. And while I'm not planning on picking her up anytime soon, her story will always be memorable to me. Not only that, but she's also another character that's not sexualized by the gay.
Okay, Internet. Please tell me that you have the decency to not sexualize this character by any means. You son of a bitch!
Here's another character I didn't think would make it high on the list. If you know my playstyle, you know that I have a huge dislike for grappling characters, and even though I like her character design, I dislike the fact that she was a grappler. That is, until I found out she is quite possibly the best grappler in any fighting game. The fact that Cerebella's level 1 grab is actually more powerful than her level 3 is astonishing. And the only reason for this is because Cerebella's only level 3 is the only projectile she has, which is a very interesting balancing tool. Not only that, but she can actually combo into her grab. After playing as her for a little bit, she was instantly one of my main characters, and while I'm a little rusty with her, I can't wait to max her up into full potential. I should note that her character style is very interesting. Even though she's a grappler, she doesn't look a bit muscular compared to other grappling characters. This is because she wears a hat that has built-in muscle attachments in it. There's not really much I dislike about this character. Her story mode shows that she works for a terrible corporation called the Medicis. She was told to bring back the life gemstone from Misfortune, who stole the gem and ate it so that she could live forever. Eventually, Cerebella confronts Misfortune and takes the life stone away from her, in the process killing her. And she's not very proud of it. Cerebella is a kind girl despite working for an evil corporation. It's sad to see such a good girl be corrupted by evil that is the Medicis. And the only reason why she has to do what she had to do was because Cerebella was an orphan and the mobster Vitaly Medici essentially adopted her and— WAIT A MINUTE! Father figure? So that picture at the end with Cerebella sitting on her father's lap. Wait, they're not insinuating that. Nah, I'm just probably imagining things. Her fighting style makes me appreciate grappling characters more. Her personality may be diva-ish, but she's really lighthearted, and her story mode was freaking fantastic. Again, saying who's number 2 will spoil who's number 1, but hopefully you guys didn't really pay attention too much in hopes that the number 1 spot will be surprising to you. What am I rambling on about? Let's just get who's number 2. Philia. Philia is the go-to basic character, and for the most part, it's true. She is by far the easiest character to learn from and master. She has a projectile for the most part, an uppercut, and a Sonic the Hedgehog spin dash. As of now, she is the main character I play, and I'm still learning a little bit about the Skullgirls engine, but from the first time I saw her, I wanted to master her. Though she has very little moves to use, I don't think that's really a bad thing. Sure, more moves means more tactics, but less moves mean less moves to remember. She's designed to be easy, and overall, she's very easy to pick up for beginner players. Her story mode is that she lost her memories, and she has a parasite named Samson. Both of these two are completely opposite, yet they care about each other much like how siblings care about for one another, even if they don't get along very well. Philia is the kind-hearted girl who cares about other people, while Samson is brash, rude, drunk, and violent. I wish there were more character development with Samson because I really love this guy. He's very funny at times, and while he has a very negative personality, he really cares about his host. While he does complain about what Philia is planning, he always follows her commands and does the job right. Philia is very kind-hearted as it is explained in her story mode. Painwheel is actually Philia's best friend, and because Brain Drain brainwashed Painwheel, she was pretty much hypnotized to do nothing but kill. That is until she saw Philia, where at first Philia thought of her as a monster, but the more she looks at her, Painwheel was the best friend she originally had. Everyone in the world treated Painwheel as a monster except for Philia, and in the end, when she could have gotten her memories back, she decided to wish for Painwheel to be a normal high school girl again. And that is what I love about Philia. Overall, she has the basic moveset that beginners like me get to utilize pretty well. Both Philia and Samson's personalities are completely opposite, yet I enjoy them every time I see them on screen, and Philia's character development was fantastic. She's just the nicest girl in the world. Now I'm pretty sure you all know who the number 1 spot is, but before we do, let's take a recap. Number 8, worst villain ever. Number 7, Peacock. Number 6, Titanic Tits. Number 5,
Pronounce her name right.
Number 4, Painwheel. Number 3, I am your father. And number 2, Philia. Yeah, if you've been looking into my Let's Plays, this one should be fairly obvious. Miss Fortune is a cat girl, and she is probably the cutest looking design as I'm a big fan of cats. I used to have a pet dog and for some reason it hates me, and cats for some reason seems to always attract my attention. So I guess my real life world reflects into the video game world because I'm more of a cat dude. Her fighting style in paper may look advanced, but after only mere minutes in the lab, despite technically being an advanced character, I managed to pull off a sweet B&B combo. I'm still learning her, and I feel like Miss Fortune will be the character I'm most proficient at due to how powerful her attacks are and her tricky maneuver. What's tricky about her, you may ask? Well, if you play for the game for yourself, you know that she could take her head off and attack with both her body and her head at 2 different areas. This is a good setup for improv combos, and the opponent will have a hard time trying to focus between 2 entities. Her personality is that of Robin Hood's, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. This was an instant reason why I love this girl, as she represents the 99%. She doesn't want to rule over the rich, she just wants equality for all of us. She also cares about her family members, which, by the way, comprise of fishes. You know, the thing that cats normally eat. This shows that she's not selfish. She can easily take these fishes down, however she doesn't because they are her new family after the Modesty killed off her fishbone gang. Her story reveals that she is able to live even after getting decapitated. She has a life gem that she ate so that she could live forever. And she doesn't use this power for evil, she uses it to defend her loved ones and conquer evil. And in the final showdown between her and Skullgirl, she was about to wish for her old family members to return, but then realizes that she had her family all along. Her family of fishes that took care of her after the evil deeds of what happened to the Fishbone Gang. But upon arrival, Minette, who was like a sister to Miss Fortune, and a majority of the teenage girls in Little Ishmouth, have been kidnapped by the Modesties, and Miss Fortune swears that she will return them safe and sound. While originally I did hate this ending, after looking into it again and again, this is a very beautiful ending. If the creators play their cards right, this is a really good build-up for making Skullgirls 2, and this further develops Miss Fortune's character as a caring, mature woman. With the movesets that I personally enjoy, her tricky mix-up potentials, her heroic personality, her fantastic backstory, and her mature character development, Miss Fortune takes the #1 spot as my favorite Skullgirls of all time.